action.
Hi, my name is Bryan Lipiner, and this is ERJ Today. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of the ERJ Today. Here are our top stories. Police continue to investigate a homicide in Meriden and a crash involving a pedestrian on Interstate 691. About 8 p.m. Friday, police responded to Broad Street for a report of a suspicious man. An investigation revealed the man walked onto Interstate 691 West, where he was struck and killed by a vehicle. Police then received information on a series of incidents, including a stolen vehicle and car crash, both on Bunker Avenue, and a medical incident on Broad Street. Police believe the same man may have been involved. A gas station attendant on Broad Street reported seeing a man covered in blood cutting his throat before walking towards a nearby entrance to Interstate 691. About 9 p.m., police responded to a 911 call from 109 Britannia Street. Officers found a deceased woman. State police was called in to assist with evidence collection, and the death is being investigated as a homicide. A Southington World War II veteran is volunteering with a tour group that showcases aircraft from the war. 93-year-old Walter Hushak flew B-24 bombers during the war and volunteers with Wings of Freedom, a group that operates aircraft from the 1940s and provides education on the experience of war in the air. Hushak has volunteered with the group for 25 years. World War II bombers will be at Waterbury Oxford Airport as part of the Wings of Freedom tour this weekend. Visitors can tour the aircraft on the ground and also take a 30-minute flight. A Wallingford Greek restaurant that announced plans to relocate earlier this year has reopened at its new location. The Greek Guy opened at 600 North Colony Road last week. The restaurant closed at its former location, 628 South Colony Road, in June. The Doghouse Grill and Gelato Bar has since opened in the same space. The new location allows the Greek Guy to expand to a full-size restaurant. The menu includes old staples and new Mediterranean entrees. The bar will serve beer, wine, and Greek-inspired cocktails. The Record Journal tagged along with groups inside the corn maze at Lyman Orchards in Middlefield last weekend. The 2-mile maze is meant to have an educational purpose. This year's theme was Charles Lindbergh's flight across the Atlantic, the first nonstop flight of its kind. The pathways through the maze form an outline of Lindbergh's face in the corn, with Lyman Orchards written in the winding pathways above him. We're back and we're talking with Wallingford reporter Matt Zabierek about the latest in a series of sexual misconduct allegations by faculty at Choate. Matt, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us some brief background about the allegations to start off.
Right, so I think as most people in our audience know, Choate released a report back in April that was conducted by a former federal prosecutor that Choate hired to look into past misconduct. And in that report, 12 former faculty members were named and were alleged to have had engaged in sexual misconduct with former students. The allegations range pretty wide. So after that report was released in April, Choate continued to receive reports from former students about misconduct that they experienced at the school. And some of those allegations were against current teachers and others were against former teachers. So what the school did to investigate these claims was they hired Connecticut-based law firm Day Pitney to look into these claims with a mandate to prioritize allegations against current teachers because obviously they want to prioritize that if there's a teacher alleged to have engaged in misconduct still on campus. So what I've been able to report so far is that Day Pitney informed Choate I think it was a couple weeks ago, that they looked into allegations against current teachers and they didn't find any evidence to take action against those current teachers. And now they're continuing to follow up on reports made against former faculty members. So that's where we're at right now, and Choate is going to continue to refer any allegations made by former students to Day Pitney to investigate.
Can you explain the new policies and the new position that have been created in response?
Right. So when the report came out in April, Choate said that they would be, creating new policies and working with RAIN, which is an anti-sexual violence group, a national group, to sort of review and look at its past policies to make them stronger going forward. And recently, last week, just before kids started back at school. They announced new policies. They revised their sexual misconduct policy and the protocols that are in place for responding to allegations. They created a new position, a wellness coordinator position, and what that person will be responsible for is handling any allegations made by current faculty or students, misconduct allegations. Other steps that they took include new training for all faculty and all students, and mandated reporting, sexual misconduct, so just having some sort of required formal training, and also stronger background checks for new students and faculty coming into campus. Choate was good on their word to announce these policies from when they said they were going to back in April, and we'll have to see if there's any new policies or sort of what the results of these new policies are.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us today, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
That's all we have for today. We'll see you guys on Friday.